Fala aí, galera. Voltamos com Little Orpheus. Vamos para a reta final, mano.
Eh? Who's the best hairy cosmonaut? It is indeed a lovely sunset. And it reminds me of the skies of Peru. I didn't? I never told you about the wonderful Sky City? Well, it was an extraordinary place, but one filled with dangers. Well, it might have been simple for you to cross it, but you were in a space capsule. I had to rely on my own 2 feet, my noshki. Feet which, I might add, had just crossed the interior, beaten the villain Toll, and helped inspire the Mienk to a workers' revolution. Oh, that's all very easy for you to say, but your idea of civilized behavior is licking your own bottom in public. No, my adventures above the clouds were filled with untold dangers, death-defying escapes, and some really quite extraordinarily large Bielaribica. And it happened like this.
Beleza, bom, já deixa o likezinho aí, galera, se inscreve nessa bagaça para dar uma força, deixa o sininho ativado em todas. Vamos embora conferir essa última fase do Little Orpheus.
Exhausted, I simply fell asleep at the foot of a strange windmill. And when I awoke, well, that thought didn't cross my mind. I was exhausted after all. This is besides the point, my nosy canine friend. What matters is this. When I awoke, the windmill and the ground around it had been carried high into the air. What magic was this? Что за магия? As unlikely, perhaps, as a suitcase-sized dog orbiting the center of the earth for many years.
Oh, que massa!
Quite. Quick as a flash, Kakmonia, my training leapt into play, and I began to paddle the strange contraption through the clouds in search of answers. It is entirely possible that a miller who owns a windmill capable of levitating high into the air may also own a flying machine. Oh, now you're just being silly. May I continue my recounting of how I sailed over the sky gardens towards the mystical city of Peru? Oh, I must, my moi ushatidrug. I must.
Oxi, esse aqui ia bater. Ah, é aqui, vambora. Pra pular aqui. Uou! Beleza. Bora seguir no progresso. Tem mais aqui. Let's go, papai.
Powerful emanations! What mighty gusts! What an epic squall! They reminded me of Cousin Pavel, yes! But whereas his rearward zephyrs could curdle milk and tarnish the teaspoons, these magical wafts only serve to carry me aloft and onwards.
Aperte seguro quadrado para interagir, beleza. Opa. Ah, mudou a direção do vento, tá ligado? Vamos. Simbora. Essa parte aqui já foi bem tranquila.
This horrid muck staining the surfaces and making my nose curl. Yes, it was positively pavilion in scent. But it did not belong here. I think I once told you of Auntie Masha's passionate encounter in a cable car with the manganese entrepreneur from Chiatura. Now, Auntie Masha told me that there was a disagreeable stain and smell all around those factories and smelting works. Our industry is not without its dangers. Could it be that the once bucolic gardens of Perun were being corrupted by unchecked pollution? After all, science is a double-edged sword, my bristly confidant. Consider Zemikov. Of course. I apologize. Proшу прощения. Two-headed dogs is perhaps a rather insensitive analogy, but not without justification in this instance. I have seen the blemished lands around Norilsk, but I could not believe that I would find such pollution here. But this was nothing to the true horror of what was shortly to unfold.
E agora? Aí. Mais uma paradinha daquelas aqui para mudar o vento. Bora segurar. Aí. Ué, é ele mesmo? Eita! Corre!
Terrible, straszna machina spewing its poison into the air had created a monstrous being, a malignant spoiler of the noble and pure.
Ele não pode encostar no vento. Beleza.
Well, of course. No, конечно, I was the prey.
Como assim? Era ele mesmo, velho. A fumaça lá preta.
But I inadvertently wandered into its lair. Oh, I know. Misfortune seemed to dog... Oh, sorry, I do apologize. To follow my every footstep. But no time to ponder. No time to bemoan the hand that fate had dealt me. No. All that was on my mind was escape, конечно.
Aqui não dá, tá pra baixo o vento. Bora seguir então. Ganhamos mais um save. Bora lá, fi.
The windmill seemed to be from an earlier age. Perhaps this was a devastating warning of the destructive power of unfettered industrialization. I most certainly had not forgotten about the windmills. I did not get carried away. You are
Bora, gira aí.
Perhaps because you are only a small dog.
Tá pra baixo aqui, vai subir, né?
Brave, spacefaring dog, of course, but a small Sebastian nonetheless.
Aí.
If you perhaps listened more and
Boa.
interrupted less, I am just getting to the explanation of the windmills.
Nice. Go. Aí. Meu Deus, que susto, velho.
My stinky nemesis was back. But more interesting was the change in the city.
Bora.
Windmills were fading out, clearly obsoleted, mothballed.
Aí o vento vai se ferrar.
Instead, a sense of an obsession with
Se lascou, papai.
Fast
Tira.
engines, terrible machines, ever hungry and reliant on the rapid consumption of fuel, the production of toxic fumes and choking gases. Pride, my pushisti compadre, pride, ambitia, ambition, the dark side of science. Zemechov's head too many.
Massa, bora.
Don't be ridiculous, dog. Only a Durak with the intellectual capacity of a ringworm would think windmills are in any way harmful.
Será que é pra chegar ali naquela estrela, mano? Tipo um palácio, né? Um palácio no céu. Aqui tá pra baixo, tem uma parada lá em cima. Deixa eu ver aqui na frente. Que massa, mano, ó. Muito bem feito, velho. Sobe. Aí. Ai, vai aparecer outro aqui. Quer ver? Tô falando. Vai logo, mano. Aê. Me ferrei. Tem que ser rápido aqui, vamos. Bora. Gira. Vai. Aí, deu. Se lasca aí, safado. Opa, tem uma cordinha aqui, bora. Aí.
Of course, you never had much of a chance to travel. Sarcasm doesn't suit you. You don't have the tail for it.
Será que dá daqui?
You do,
Vai.
at least have a
Ui,
tail.
meu Deus, não deu.
Mind you, family gossip.
Tem que ser mais alto. Ihu! Sobe. Bora na cordinha.
Of course, you never had much of a chance to travel. Sarcasm doesn't suit you.
Beleza, eu
You
caí
don't have
aqui,
the
né?
tail for it.
Deixa eu subir. Vamos, agora
You
dá.
do at
Ui!
least have a tail.
Aí.
Mind you, family gossip maintains that so did Uncle Rabliem. Although it was apparently little more than a stub and a source of considerable
mais.
discomfort and social anxiety.
Vai.
for him.
Ui!
The
Deu.
question of whether or not Uncle Rabliem wagged his stub is very much off topic. What I am trying to say is that your upbringing on the streets of Moscow meant you never saw the blackened fields of Magnitogorsk. The sacrifices made by the valiant citizens of that industrial
Ó, ficou
hub,
tudo verde.
as they drowned in their own blight, even as they powered the state forwards. I was reminded of Magnitogorsk as I wandered through those fields of pipes and foundries. And I wept for the loss of innocence that so often goes hand in hand with progress.
Opa. Meteu o pé. Ai, meu Deus, velho. Toda vez eu me assusto. Vai, mano. Tá machucado, velho. Bora, bora. Pula. Ai, deu. Fica aí abestalhado atrás. Laika.
I just
Nosso
evaded
cachorrinho.
the slimy, oily grasp of that man-made vaginoi, his petroleum stink clogging my nostrils and making my head thump. And I felt a great stirring within me. Yes, much like I assume Cousin Pavel. May he never get loose again. But no, quite different. This was no volcanic upbubbling of gastric malintent. No, it was the roaring fires of justice once more ignited within me. I felt a swell of patriotic fervor and knew the hand of destiny had fallen on me once more. Yes, what a hand it was! I could not see this great wonder sink into an abyss of poison and bile. The Perunians may have been forced to abandon their city, but I had saved the world once before and was ready to answer the call again.
Beleza, bora. Essa fase tá sendo mais longa que as outras. Óbvio que é a última, né? Tem que ser maior, mano. E aí? Direita aqui? Vamos. Não cai, hein? Sobe. Sobe. Bora. Nadando no céu, ó. Que massa, né, mano? Aí.
What strange metal Bielaribitsa, clearly
Olha
designed
isso.
to swim through the air. I was amazed. And there was more. Beneath the fins, I spotted the apertures of hoses and was reminded of the time Auntie Agrafina devised a contraption to water all of her copious algae beds simultaneously with one flush of the toilet by a system of pipes and valves that ran throughout her house. Можно так сказать, in a manner of speaking, yes. Her algae were most irrigated, although her neighbor Victor was washing his trousers in the sink at the time and was bruised quite severely about the face and body. But these were no ordinary flying metal fish. They were designed to expel air, fresh air, and push back the polluted clouds.
Uma alavanca. Bora.
There is, of course, a fine tradition of looking to nature to solve problems of a scientific or military persuasion. Yes, as you well know, my nephew Sergei, yes, the very same,
Mais
or
uma.
led with his dermatological eruptions. Well, Sergei was stationed recently at Kazachya Buchta, where
Beleza, fechei.
dolphins were being
Tem uma lá em
trained
cima.
as brilliant aquatic agents of socialism. Why not then be inspired
Deixa eu ver logo o que
by
tem
marine
aqui.
life? Why,
Nada,
there is
né?
a fish, I have heard, that can shoot jets of water from beneath the surface to knock its prey off little tiny twigs and into its mouth. If you were to tell the average mushroom sheriff that a dog would orbit the earth,
Já me
I
liguei
suspect you
aqui.
would receive a similarly
Vamos
sneering
subir
response.
e pra esquerda.
That is because
Bora,
you are a
sobe.
small, hairy hound of
Agora à
uncertain
esquerda. Aê.
I, on the other hand, am a cosmonaut, the product of
Beleza,
many
deu
months of
certo.
training, and I realized the answer to pollution was here all along. The Peronians, tragically, had simply
Bora.
never had time to finish their fleet. If only I could find a working, flying fish. If only. If only. Yes, if only. It made perfect sense, of course. The poisonous tuhata that engulfed Perun was like a nasty cold. And you know what to do with a cold to rid yourself of it. You may not get colds, but nor can you
Calma,
operate
garoto. Espera
shelling
aqui.
machinery. So don't get
Vambora.
ideas above your station. We humans, on the other hand, may produce up to 16
Aí.
million perfectly unshelled peas in an
Mais
average
vento.
shift. But we are martyrs to our sinuses. But
Ficou uma
wait.
alavanca lá embaixo.
Aha! These
Ah,
are remedies
deixa eu
we Russians
descer
have been
aqui,
perfecting over the long centuries of harsh winters. Onions. A quick snifter of
Bora
onion
ativar
oil
ela.
will clear your head faster than a Pragviev can clear a hypothetical minefield. Yes, if I could find a functional
Ah,
fish,
e agora?
I would become that onion.
É pra cá, mano? Acho que sim, é. Ganhamos um save ali, é pra cá mesmo. Bora. Ah, tem 3 aqui. O que é que eu faço? Isso, já? Só isso? Que puzzle fácil. Bora subir mais uma vez aqui no vento. Ihu! Tá. Vai ficar todo lascado batendo nos canos. Eita, de novo, velho. Aí, eu tô machucado. Bora!
Close. I could feel it. Yes,
Bora,
yes,
meu
the
filho.
working fish, the ribka. I could feel I was at the heart of
Cadê o
Perun.
vento? Cadê o vento?
My noxious pursuer had renewed its chase with a terrible vigor.
Corre! Vai, vai. Olha o bicho vindo, véi. Bora.
Not far now. I just had to keep going, keep pushing. It's almost as if
Vai,
you
vai.
knew, Pavel. How about it?
Aê, consegui? Beleza.
There she was. A beautiful sight. Her scales shimmering in the sunlight. Her fins poised for action. Her onion cannons primed for a great aerial conflict unseen in the annals of human endeavor. And you are just jealous it was a bigger flying machine than yours. No, Bilious Pal. It was time for science to fight back. Yes,
mano, é uma nave, tá ligado?
Actually, onwards to victory.
Pode crer. Uma nave meio doida, né? Mas use L para andar para cima ou para baixo. Beleza. Vambora. Desviar aqui das paradas. X para disparar. Ó. Ihu. Vixe. Ai, bati. Bora. Sai daí. Ó, vixe. Sobe. Vamos. Eita, meu Deus. Sai daí. Ai. Aí, tá tomando dano. Pega na boca, safado. Sobe, sobe. Sai daí. Abre a boca, vai. Aí, pega, pega, pega. Isso. Ui, meu Deus, bati. Sai daí, velho. Aí, fica no meio. Beleza. Na boca. Ai. Iu. Se lascou, hein? Matamos o bicho já? Foi muito fácil.
The strange interior sunlight gleaming on the sides of my fishy vessel. I heard birds clear their little throats and begin their wondrous gvalt, the wind gently humming on the fins. And then, all of a sudden, under it all, well, you see, in my hurry, it didn't even occur to me to check how much fuel was carried in the strange craft. With a horrible splutter, the engines choked and died. And suddenly we were plummeting downwards towards our doom. I did not. A simple mistake that many have made. Why, my Aunt Agrafina met her untimely demise being late for a fungal sculpting seminar and making exactly the same error. Only, unfortunately, it left her stranded in sub-zero temperatures just outside Pravachitsinsk. She wasn't found until 18 years after her own funeral, but was perfectly preserved. Remarkable, really. It is beside the point, yes. So, there I was. My fabulous ship had become a terrible prison. I was hurtling to my almost certain death. My triumph turned to tragedy. But then, Well, you know what happened next. Even so, mooi magnat die droeg. That is a story for another time. A most extraordinary story, of course, filled with dangers and wonders, and canals, and invasions, and strange doorways to other worlds. But perhaps too long a story for now. Yes, indeed, my canine tavarish. Time for soup. Auntie Agrafina's famous borscht. Coming?
Acabou, galera.
I think you really did have the happy
Deixa eu pular essa introdução. E finalizamos Little Orpheus. Deixa o likezinho aí, galera, quem gostou dessa série. Jogão muito massa. Se inscreve também para dar uma força aqui no canal. Se você quiser ser membro e apoiar aqui o meu conteúdo, é só clicar aí também no Seja Membro, beleza? A gente se vê na próxima. Falou!